Good morning, everybody. It's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I have just a little bit of time to journal before I go to work, and we're going to do a really quick page. Before I put that on, let's distress the edges. So we're going to really build this page in our quilt-covered journal with some grungy layers. I am not afraid to distress. I'm not afraid if it gets on the other pages. I know I've shared that before. If it kind of overlaps, it's all right. I love the way the ink comes through. We can see the moss sticking out from the previous page. I've already cut a few things out that we're going to use on this page. So let's just take a wet brush and go around the edges. And I like to get in the center, and sometimes I will fold the journal back and even get down in the very, very center there. I think that's really pretty and makes it look really, really old and grungy. Really fun. The next thing I'm going to do is mix a couple of colors that I like together. That's way too much paint, but we'll pull some of that off. I didn't expect quite so much to come out. Let's take a little bit of that. Well, that's going to be okay. Put that string out of there. I may use that piece of fabric later. It's amazing what things turn into if you let them dry. So that piece of fabric, let me take the string off. That'll end up being a really neat tab once it dries. So don't throw things like that away. Now, let me just get some of the gold paint off of my hand. To this color, I'm going to mix a little light pink. There's my brush. Now, I don't really want a lot of this paint to end up on that linen over there. If it does, it's okay, but I don't want a lot of it to end up over there. Sometimes it just really makes it pretty. So I love this color together. That's really pretty. And we actually could have used a little bit more gold. Maybe if I just take that piece of fabric and put it on the page, it'll give us some texture as well. So that is wet. I'm going to turn the dryer on and dry this. To speed up the process, I'm going to lay this piece of paper on here and pull off any that's not completely dry, and this will give us another really cool piece of paper to work with. So we can even fold this over now. Look at how the colors blend, and if a little bit gets on this page, it's going to just really be pretty. So that's perfect. The page is drying really nicely, and it's just what we want. I'm going to leave this blank in the center because that's going to be my little hidden journal page, and I'm going to distress the edges a tiny bit. Let's just, okay. On this page, I've already cut out a beautiful image that I want to use, and we're going to put down some Mod Podge. I'm almost out. I don't like to put Mod Podge on top of images because it makes them so sticky. I do use it as an adhesive sometimes underneath images when I'm doing collage or putting something in a journal like this. Now, I know that you probably noticed there was some white space on that page at the edge. I'm just going to take a little bit of this paint and mix it in. So just make a little bit of a background there. And then let's put this in. And if it doesn't stick at the edges, I will go back and put some glue underneath any edges that don't stick. And because we had the Mod Podge mixed in, I'm just going to wipe off the excess, and it's still going to leave some pretty color there. We can still go back again, and to get to the edge of this picture, let's just open the journal up again, like kind of turn it back on itself. And that'll give us some really pretty color in there. And you could also take your paintbrush, which if you're like me, you dip everything in the same, probably shouldn't even admit that. I do change the water, but if I'm working on a spread, it's typically the same water through the whole thing. And the water in the cup to clean the paintbrush can even end up with some pretty color on it, like just for dripping onto a page. So I love the way this page is turning out so far. It's really, really pretty. This is the little piece of fabric, and I'm going to dry that so that we can use it. We're going to go ahead and use it. Looking back what we had on the prior page, that's going to be really pretty. Sometimes tabs don't look so great overlapped onto the next page. Rip edges when you can if you want a grungy look instead of cutting. This is going to be really pretty though. I'm going to sew this into place. I'm back from the sewing machine. I went ahead and sewed a couple of things. There's our tab. I think it's really beautiful. There was more pink on this side, so I kept the pink side with this page. There was mostly gold over here, which I thought was prettier on this side. And see how it adds to this spread? And as you build a journal, just going back and adding things, like even the custom journal that I've been working on, different spreads have themes. And if I come across something later and I think, oh, that tied in perfectly with my page about the crows or whatever, go back and add it. A couple of things I've done to my journal, I cut the strings off. You can do that or you don't have to. That was a way to tie it, but you don't have to use that. I think I'm going to attach this little clip to mine just on the front. I haven't decided for sure yet. And then I may put something on the back that will come around and grab that little clasp. The only thing about that is that it stands up a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be a problem because it's going to be a completed art journal. I also took the blue cord that was on this charm and put it on some hemp cord. I didn't really like that satiny tasseled thing that it was hanging on, so I pinned that in the front. It had been over here, but I wanted just one moon on that page. So as you go back, the journal just becomes more and more a piece of artwork that is just really you. It speaks about your aesthetic and what you really like. I've got this really pretty dragonfly, and I think I'm going to just glue it onto the page because it ties in so nicely. That is going to be where we write. The other thing that I sewed in is this piece of burlap. Sometimes I leave strings, but you don't want too many. You can kind of strategically leave a few. So under here we have this, and see our journal entry spot is going to be hidden. I will also put something here. I'm not sure yet what that's going to be, but I wanted to start at least building this page with you to show you how easy it is to do a layered page. Another thing about adding burlap or something like that is that you can go back then. I love to use safety pins, and this safety pin is going to be perfect for this page. It doesn't have a really sharp point, so there have been several pages that I thought about using it on, and then I didn't because it wouldn't go through the fabric without making a really large hole, but the burlap is perfect for it. So I'm going to put that in there, and we may add a charm to that later. I think I'm going to go ahead and write my entry for today and get that done. Just make some little notes of things. Where's my Sharpie? There it is. And what's today? Is it the 9th already? Another thing that I feel really adds depth to a page is stamping. And this stamp in particular, it's really generic, but it's got this beautiful old scroll that fits in with nature, botanical, Victorian, Renaissance. There's really not anything that this doesn't fit in with. And that just, it's just so pretty. It adds depth, and if you stamp on fabric and paper, it seems to me like it's just even prettier. If you wanted to, you could continue to distress, you know, even like the edge of the little butterfly. And you don't have to do the whole thing. If you don't want too much of it, it can get monotonous. It depends on what, you know, what you're going for. We can maybe go across the bottom of this where there's still a little white showing, and it's pretty like that, I think. You could even grunge up the fabric a little bit, but I think I'm going to leave that white there the way it is. You can keep adding. You can go back and add more and more. I don't really want to use black here. I do have, let's see, where is my dark? That's clay yellow. What color is this? That's black. Dark green. Light brown. I thought I had a darker brown. There's my dark brown. I'm going to wet this watercolor pencil. Let's test it first here. Oh, it needs to be sharpened. The name of this painting is The Beautiful Reader. The Beautiful... See how even those drops of water, they have color from where I've worked on the page. They're going to react with this ink. It just makes it really pretty. The Beautiful Reader. And this painting is by an artist called Leon-Francois Comerre. I believe that's how you say it. I'm not really sure. And I have a really wonderful site that I love to go to and get images. I'll share that with you. It's all, well, it's a lot of artwork. It's not all public domain. It's all specified whether or not it's in the public domain. And you can get inspiration from there, and you can also get images to use. So that's where we are so far. I'm definitely going to stop now because I do have to run off to work. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back soon with the next page. We will continue to do some different things. And oh, I was going to say, I promised to stay away from the alcohol ink, but let me show you one thing. Let me show you how it just adds age to a page instantly. So if we just put a little spot there, and let's actually get it on this. That's just going to soak in, and it's going to look really old there. I love the way it spreads out. It looks like an old coffee stain or something. And now I promise I'm going to stop. And I promise I'm going to try not to use this ink so much. Although I do think this is a necessary thing for everybody's art desk. Bye for now.